Hello and welcome to Body Wars. This is going to be the episodic part here on my channel to where I compare the bodies that I make on Blender here and compare them against other ones to see if there's really a difference in the bodies of the cars that I make. So basically, here's how it is. We have a couple different RC car bodies. In this case, we have three. We're going to be running them up against each other on one track and on one chassis. So all these cars share the same chassis, and we'll compare the times that these cars run. The whole point of this is to see whether or not there is a difference, because it might not seem like it because it's such a small, they're so small and minute, you probably won't actually see a difference. I mean, you wouldn't think that you would see a difference. However, people in the RC car community take RC car bodies very seriously, especially when it comes to racing. So, what do I have here? Well, we're going to take a look around the track here. It is a figure 8 style track, and it's actually pretty short once you actually drive around it, but it's got quite I think 5 packs of Walmart squares. This right here is going to be the start line. I don't have a piece of tape there yet, but I will later. So, as we come down here, this is actually the thickest part of the track. Nice thundering curve. Then it goes into a very skinny, tight, one square area. This is actually going to be the most troublesome part of doing this, because one square is not much when it comes to driving these RC cars. It's actually very skinny and very difficult. Then we come around here. Chances are, most of these cars are going to understeer at that spot right there as it comes off of that long stretch, and then across the finish line again to start the next lap. We're going to be doing 10 laps. Some cars might use a little more considering I fail at the last lap, so I want to at least get it a good lap. So with that said, let's come down back to the cars here. We have 3 cars. I have a GT500, a Challenger, and a Camaro. It's the ZL1 Camaro and the Hellcat Challenger, as well as the new 2019 GT500. Very good looking car here. It's pretty bulky, I would say. They're all wide at 74 millimeters, some a little more than that. And it's very thick. It's got a long back bumper, and the front end's kind of long as well. However, it's got a nice big spoiler as well as a pretty good splitter to match, and pretty aerodynamic as well with that spoiler as well. Should put out a lot of downforce. The Camaro is the next car that we have here. It has a smaller spoiler, however, it is at a steeper slope of a spoiler, so it should catch wind a bit easier there. This car is bulky as well, however, it is a little less bulky. The front end and the rear end are shorter than the GT500, so that should make this corner a little tighter, as it is shorter and it's less boatness to move around. The car technically is wider than the GT500, considering this does not have such large wheel arches. And the last car is the Hellcat Challenger. This car is the most boat-like out of them, as it is literally a square with wheel arches on it. The car has a front splitter and front hood scoops for air intake, as well as its access of downforce. The rear of the car does not have much of a spoiler. It's a little ducktail spoiler, and it's not going to catch as much downforce as the spoiler on the Camaro or the Mustang. So it'll be interesting to see if this car can keep up with the two around the track, or will it hurt? Okay, so we are going to actually weigh the cars, but first we're going to weigh the chassis. The chassis itself weighs 141 grams, so we're just going to weigh the bodies off of the chassis, considering the chassis weighs the same throughout. First car we're going to weigh is the Mustang. It weighs 41 grams, which is pretty heavy. A normal Mini Z body weighs about 35 grams. The Camaro is the lightest of the group. It weighs 40 grams, so it is only 1 gram lighter than the Mustang. but the boat like Challenger is the heaviest at 43 grams. So it is going to feel the most hurt around the track in terms of weight. However, we'll have to check and see if weight means more grip around this track, or will it mean more weight to throw around and understeer. As we come to a close with the Challenger doing its final laps, we're going to come to recollect on the cars' fastest times, and we're just going by the fastest lap, not the full time, because some cars did more than 10 laps, just because I messed up on the last one. In last place, we had the Challenger at 4.97 seconds, which was pretty good. Second place, the Mustang at 4.9 seconds, close enough to where it could almost be blamed on timer error. And first place, noticeably in first with a 4.7 seconds, is the Camaro. And there we have it, the finish of the very first Body Wars, and the winner is the 19 Camaro ZL1. Actually, it might be an 18. Second place was close to the 19 GT500, followed up by the 17 Hellcat Redeye. But the Camaro did come out on top. It happened to be the lightest by 1 gram. However, that 1 gram turned out to be a victorious point for it, as it did clinch the victory. So, congratulations to the Camaro being our first winner, and we'll probably move you up into a new bracket if we ever happen to do this Body Wars with this chassis again. I do have a couple race cars that we could use, so we could always put it up against the race cars to see how it turns out. Might be bloody, might not, but we'll find out in the next one. See you guys. Bye.